We ready?
I think so.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our live paint along tonight. Welcome, welcome. Tonight, we are doing a Monet inspired lily pad painting for our friend Amanda.
I didn't know where to do that one.
I just threw it out there.
Oh,
We have Michael working the cameras.
hi.
And this is in celebration of the Monet videos that are releasing this Friday. Black Friday, Monet videos are releasing. So I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a preview of what you can expect from those projects. And I'm really excited and grateful to be with you here tonight. Um, let's go over the supplies. And then I'm going to go through some announcements while you gather things. And so you guys know, this is a recorded video. It will stay up. So if you can't paint along right now, you will be able to paint along after.
Shoot, you're backwards. Hold on. I gotta fix you. There you go. Now you're not backwards.
We
Good
good?
call, Dana.
Dana's like, you're
The
backwards.
program we use wants to use mirror every time, and sometimes I just forget to turn it off, but it like defaults to being mirrored.
Weird.
I hate it. All right,
Super weird.
keep going.
Okay, so for the supplies, of course, please use whatever that you have. But we have phthalo blue, Q coral, Q purple, Q gold, cad yellow, and bleed proof white. Those are the colors that I'm using. But again, please use whatever you have. If you have some neo colors, they'll be great for this. If you have pigment sticks, those will be fun as well. For the brushes, I'm just using like around 10, around 6, and around 2, like a large, medium, and small brush. But again, whatever you have will work great. For the announcements that we have tonight, we have our last call for the November project. So you have until the very end of the month. I think they get taken off at like 8 p.m. on the last day in November. And November has 30 days in the month. So we got, what's the day even?
It's the 25th.
25th. You got about 5 days. So November projects are there. Also, last call for the archive. The archive is closing at the end of the month as well.
It was a fun one this time. We had like those bonus
Yeah.
before scenes.
I brought the bonus ones if you guys want to see. So I put in 3 projects that have never been seen before in the archive. We have this gorgeous one, we have this gorgeous one, and we have this gorgeous one.
Love it.
And these projects will always be part of the archive. So if you can't get them this round, or at least not all of them this round, they will be part of the archive moving forward. Okay. But just if you guys are new here, all previous monthly projects are put into the archive. You can purchase them individually. And just so you guys know how it kind of works out financially is like when the month is for sale as a bundle, if you like more than one project, it's worth it just to buy the bundle than to purchase the projects individually later on.
Mhm.
Okay. And I think our next archive opening is going to be probably like, I don't know, scheduled for sure in May. So, if you want to do some painting this December, now's your opportunity.
It is my birthday in April, and I do usually ask for an open archive.
Oh, that's true. Maybe we'll do it in April. Okay. Other announcements. We have our December reveal happening at the end of this live or right before the very end of the live. I'm excited to show you. We have some really fun stuff planned for December. And then the Monet projects are releasing on Friday. So those who have pre-ordered, I think we put this up in September, October. I don't know. It's been a long time.
It's been a minute.
And so all of the projects will be tutorials will be available on Friday. I'm really excited. And Michael, I'm going to show you guys them in case you didn't see the reveal.
Ready?
Yes. So here's a project, and I have 2 versions, obviously, because I painted it. And we have the project 1, and then the painted version. We are doing a Japanese bridge. Here I really played with colors. And this one was super fun.
Yeah.
Really went crazy with color here.
That one turned out great.
Yes. And these outlines will be provided, step-by-steps will be provided, all of that fun stuff. And then this one. Ugh. They're so beautiful. They're so fun. I just like thinking back to filming them. I'm just like get a little like excited where I'm like, oh.
They were fun to film.
Yeah, they were really fun, and I'm so excited for you guys to finally have them and to see what you guys make. It's just going to be so good. So if you're interested, you can order the Monet projects now, and they're evergreen, so you'll always be able to order the Monet course. Okay, so whenever you're ready, it is there for you. Okay, I think that is all the announcements.
That's it.
Yeah. Okay. Also grab a pencil and a scratch piece of paper because I want to practice some sketching. So we're going to practice some sketching because there's no outline with this. And then we will get into our painting. So sketching, oath, then painting. Sound good?
Yeah. Barb wants to know why there are two of each. It's because we paint one for pictures and to like sell the course. And then the other one comes from when we do the tutorial. So she ends up with two paintings of pretty much everything you've ever seen. There's
Every
two
project we've ever painted, there's two of because I have to paint the initial one at least, and then I paint the one that we filmed. So I was just showing you because, and I talk about them in the tutorials, the color choices that I was making. And so like, because of those slight color differences between the two, it actually gave the projects different feels. And so I wanted to show them to you. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Brianna says, I finally caught you live. I'm so glad that you're here. Joy says, happy Thanksgiving from Tennessee. Welcome, Joy. I think somebody earlier, Deb says this is her first live. Welcome, welcome. Kara says that she is baking for Thanksgiving, so she's watching and she'll paint later. And Kara, happy Thanksgiving. She came out to the Hamilton retreat. Kara's so great. Okay. So for the sketching, what we're going to do with this is I want you to grab a pencil, and then the shapes that we're basically going to practice are ovals. That's it. So when it comes to lily pads, if you think about it, if you're looking directly overhead, like bird's eye view of a lily pad, it's going to be round. Okay. And then as your eye or as the perspective starts to flatten and kind of turn away from you, this thing that's a circle is going to start to thin out and become an oval. So here I can tell that this, I'm looking at it from an angle and a perspective where this is overhead, okay? Now, the thinness or thickness of that lily pad is going to shift and get thinner and thinner the farther away it turns from us. Think about like a dinner plate, and even if you have to like use a dinner plate to kind of play with that perspective, where if we're seeing lily pads that are far away and that are kind of like, they're going to be thin like this, where we're just seeing the little edges of them, like so.
Hold on. We've had 8 million people ask about your croissant. We got to talk about the croissant. It's causing quite a ruckus.
Okay, listen, my friend Lisa made me this croissant brush holder. I knew that I mean, like, I'm obsessed with it. I knew you guys would be interested in it. So I messaged her just being like, Lisa, I know people are going to ask, are you interested in selling some? And she is, but so I told her to tell me when she has some ready to sell, and then I'll let you guys know. Okay. She doesn't have any ready right now, but she's working on it.
It's hard to make lots of things. You know
And
what I mean?
I honestly, she has to like use a ceramic studio. Like she's just kind of learning. She's fantastic. She didn't make, like, look, are you kidding?
It's so cute.
Look how cute it is. I am obsessed, but I knew immediately that people were going to want some. So I'm not going to pressure her though, because sometimes people feel pressured to like, I have to make and I have to sell. She doesn't have to, but I think she's going to. So when she does, I'll let you guys know, and you can see if you can get a cute little croissant brush rest because it's so dang cute. Okay.
Sorry. Keep going.
It's okay. That was absolutely worth the pause.
Yeah.
So for lily pads, the ones that we're going to focus on are going to be the ones where they're just kind of more like this oval here. And so I just want you to practice that shape. Also notice that they're overlapping. And that's because for the most part, I mean, of course, it depends on where you're at, the lily pads that you're seeing, but sometimes they kind of grow next to each other and kind of like lay on top of each other. And so for me, I just like to do a few little sketchy lines like this, just to get the feel of them. Okay. Now, if I were to do like a lily pad painting, like this one's close up, so we're going to stay very within this kind of realm here. And then if you were trying to show some that were farther away, so let's say these ones are close up, so those ones are going to be bigger and more obvious, and then as they move away from us, they're going to get thinner. And then eventually they would turn into just really thin kind of horizontal lines. But you see how this shows depth, Michael?
Yeah, sorry, I'm replying to comments.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Like, are you paying attention, sir? Okay. Now, when it comes to the lilies themselves, I try and keep it really basic. I'm really trying to channel my inner Monet and going off Impressionism, which was basically you form things using color and brushstroke. Okay, so for the lilies themselves, the initial one is just going to be round. Okay, so you can practice doing a little round. And then after they're round, I go in and do like this kind of stroke. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Boom, boom, boom. And it's like really messy. It's kind of more directional. It's really sketchy. And that's the whole feel that we're going for. Okay. I really want you to embrace brushstroke. I want you to embrace color, even color that you think wouldn't make sense. I want you to embrace that because that's really part of Monet's style specifically. All right.
All right.
Okay, Lori says, hi guys, happy Thanksgiving. Lori was also at the Hamilton retreat. Lori,
We're
so
having a
good to see you.
conversation about Luden artboards on the YouTube side because someone said that, who was it? Let me see. Sue Klosterman is having neck pain while painting. And I said, Sarah has faced that. And I know that they might be kind of pricey, but the Luden artboard was a literal lifesaver.
Yes. Okay, if you are an artist or someone who is over at a desk a lot, I was having a lot of like nerve and neck pain that made it literally impossible. Like I couldn't lift my arm.
Yeah, she was having trouble sleeping.
I couldn't sleep. Like it was terrible. It lasted weeks. It was so bad. What saved me is I purchased a Luden artboard, which is an artboard that is on an easel that is adjustable. So just the act of painting upright was so much easier than being hunched over, and it really helped my neck to heal. So whenever, and it still happens sometimes where I can feel it start getting tight. Whenever that happens, I just bust out my Luden artboard and I use that. Now you might be like, well, how do you use watercolor on an angled surface? Most of the time, your initial wash in watercolor is wet on wet. And then after that, it's not drippy. So usually the first layer, which is like the quickest, fastest layer, I'll do it flat and then I just angle it up. And then from then on, doing all of that kind of layers and layers and layers, I just do it angled up and it saves my neck. So he's on Etsy and they are expensive, but I will also say that they're the best quality I've ever experienced.
Yeah, I wanted to chime in with the husband minute because like I like to dabble in woodworky things. I've never met this guy. Like his work is so good.
Yeah.
Whatever he's doing in his shop is excellent.
Just really great quality.
Husband seal of approval.
Yeah, you will not be disappointed. I was absolutely blown away. And yeah, that's just a really good option if you're experiencing that kind of pain. Okay.
Back to it.
Back to it. Now, we did our practice sketch. Let's do our oath. And then we'll go into the steps. So if you can raise your right hand and repeat after me. I promise to be kind to myself.
I promise to be kind to myself.
I promise not to compare my work.
I promise not to compare my work.
And I promise to have fun.
I promise to have fun.
Thank you very much. Okay, now for the steps, what we're going to do is our first step is we're just going to sketch. Our second step, we're going to do our initial light value wash on our water and our lily pads. Our third step is we're going to start putting in our medium values along with our lilies themselves. Our fourth step, we're going to put in our dark values, and our fifth step is finishing textures. Okay, this is definitely one that we kind of build it as we go. It's just let yourself be loose and have fun and be playful with this because that's what this is all about. So for that first step, for that sketch, I'm going to do some lilies close up. So I'm just going to do an oval here. And then for simplicity, because we're doing so many layers, I'm not going to be worried about my pencil sketches. So I'm just going to like do another one right here, let them be messy and overlap. I'm doing another one right here. I'm going to do one kind of coming off the side here, maybe a hint of one here, and maybe a hint of one here. Okay. Now yours can be adjusted. Yours can be bigger and smaller. Remember, they can be different. It's okay. They don't have to be exactly like mine. Now I'm going to put in my lily flowers, and I'm just going to do those as circles for now. I'm going to do one kind of coming off the edge right here, and I'm going to do one right here. Again, it's completely up to you where you want to put them. All right. That's it. That's the sketch. Oh, my mom's here. Hi, Mom.
I don't want to interrupt you, but I was like, Callie says heart.
My mom's here. Okay. Now let's paint. So I'm going to take my larger brush, whatever larger brush that you have here. I am going to grab some phthalo blue. As you can see, my palette is very messy.
Yeah.
And with this painting, it's fine if there's like, it's fine if you pick up a little bit of another color. Okay, it's not a big deal. All right, so I'm going to take this phthalo blue. Under this lily pad here, I'm going to do swoops of phthalo. And then I'm just going to use water to spread it out, mostly avoiding the lily pads and the flowers. If you end up getting a little bit in them, it's not the end of the world. We're just kind of quickly filling in around this, okay?
Also, you guys probably heard that very loud car because this is live and I can't block out the loud cars.
That's all right. Yeah, we have literally one stoplight in Little Hamilton, Missouri, and young people with their trucks really get excited about speeding off of that one stoplight we have in town.
It's not even a real stoplight. It's just like a blinking stop sign.
It's a blinking light. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do while it's wet is I'm going to start dropping in other colors and being a little bit playful. So I have some Q coral here on my palette. I'm going to mix that with some water so it's more like a pink, maybe a touch of Q purple so it's like a purpley pink. And I'm just going to drop that in along the top and let those colors bleed. I'm not going to try and control where they go. I'm going to allow them to do their thing. And I'm just going to really embrace watercolor for what it does. Okay? Mm-hmm. Then what we're going to do is I'm going to mix kind of like a little bit of a darker blue, and I'm going to work fairly quickly here. So I'm grabbing some coral and some phthalo, and that's going to give me like a purple blue, but it's going to be a little bit darker. See how dark that is? Mm-hmm. Lovely. And I'm just going to kind of swoop that in along the bottom. So basically value-wise, my values are going to be lighter along the top and darker along the bottom, okay? But you can see this is very loose, very sketchy, and that is what we want, okay? Now, while it's wet, I'm going to mix some phthalo with some Q gold, or you can do cad yellow, whatever kind of green that you like. I'm going to do Q gold because that's what I have right here.
I'm going to move your picture to the other side so we can see your palette better. There we go.
And then I'm just going to start to put in the green for my lily pads. And remember, everything is wet. So it's all bleeding. The green's going everywhere. The blue's going into it. The pink is going everywhere. It's chaos. Just kidding. It's not chaos. It's what it's supposed to do. And we're embracing it and we're not trying to control it. Again, we're letting the colors bleed. We're going to be doing so many layers on top of this that it really doesn't matter. Okay? If it bothers you too much where it's starting to affect your composition, that's where you can go over with some phthalo on top of some areas and clean up some edges. But again, we'll have that opportunity a little bit later. So it's really not the end of the world here. I do want to do a little bit, touch more of the kind of pink color. I also really love it when I mix Q coral with like Q gold or cad yellow and it gives me like that peachy pink.
Q what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Q.
Coral.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I didn't know what the paint was.
Where's your bother?
It's hard to know what paint color you're talking about unless you say
unless
its name.
I do it, I get it. I get it. Or you do a little bit of a purple, but just kind of that like fun little touch of color in there.
Sarah, if I scooch to this camera, can you scooch your thing up so we could see up
Sure.
close? Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. All right, that is our first layer. And while it's wet like this, I'm going to take my bleed proof white and I'm just going to dip my brush directly into it and put in the white for the flowers. And here I did a pretty good job avoiding it. So good job, Sarah. This one I did not. So I'm just going to put that in. I'm keeping within kind of that roundish shape. And then here I'm just going to kind of clean up the edges. Boop, boop.
Nina says she's made the pumpkin cake 3 times and she can't stop, and now she's making it for Thanksgiving.
Listen, I get it because that pumpkin cake is insane. So good. So good. Okay, what we want to do now is we want to start introducing some medium values and some brushstroke and texture to our painting. So right now we have some beautiful colors. We do have some bleeds. We might have some hard edges. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But if we're going for Monet and the Impressionism style, then we really need to embrace seeing brushstroke. And there's two ways that I'm going to go about doing that. One of them is through the dry brush technique, which maybe you guys are familiar with, and I'll walk you through how to do it if you're not. The other one is I'm going to be actually mixing bleed proof white with my colors in order to layer some layers, some opaque layers, so then we can get some like really gorgeous hints of like turquoise and blush and, you know, lilac and all of that kind of stuff. But we want to do this when the painting is dry, so then those things actually show up. If I try to do dry brush on a wet surface, then that stroke is just going to fuzz out and even out and not creating the texture that I'm looking for. Okay?
Nobody likes that.
Yeah, Linda says can't find them. It's Louden, Louden.
I linked it to her.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Thank you.
That's why I'm quiet. I'm being the commenter over here.
You're doing so good.
Thank you.
Michael, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Okay.
$8.
Add it, put it on my tab.
Okay.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is let's start with some medium value. So I'm gonna grab some phthalo. I'm gonna mix it with some Q purple just for fun. And then now that it's mixed on my brush, I'm gonna hit it on my paper towel. That's gonna absorb any excess moisture. And then now that I have a dry brush, I'm gonna start doing some dry brush texture on my painting. I'm gonna do horizontal strokes because I want to show that this is a flat surface. Now, as we get into the Monet projects, you'll see how the direction of your brushstroke can greatly inform your painting. But for this one, I'm keeping it very simple. Now, whenever you start to run out where like you're trying to put in texture and nothing's coming off your brush, that's when you can re-pick up paint. You can moisten your brush to help you. But like, look at the beautiful textures that we're getting already with this.
It's lovely.
Okay, now what I'm going to do is I am going to put in, well, let's keep on going actually. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's keep going with these values. And you're welcome to kind of shape your lily pads right now as well. They're going to get a little bit, and don't be afraid about a wonky lily pad, honestly, because like if you look closely at Monet's lily pads, they're literally like scribbles, truly. So like be easy on yourself, okay? And I'm going to lean into the Q purple a little bit more. I like introducing different colors here and there. So I'm going to do a little bit of dry brushing of that as well. Then as I work my way up, I want my values to still stay overall lighter up here. So I'm going to take my bleed proof white. I'm going to mix it with some phthalo blue. And that's going to give me like this really pretty like sky blue color. And I'm going to start doing some dry brush on that. Now, I'm not going to cover up all of that blush or that purple or that pink because I want some of that color to show through. If you end up accidentally covering it up, that's not a big deal. We can put some back in later. But I'm just starting to put in different colors within there. And then I'm also going to take that blue and I'm going to say, let's see what happens when we bring it down here a little bit. Just a touch. Yeah, just here and there. We're just kind of letting some light in through here.
Christine says she can't stop looking at your palette. All the colors make her think of the iridescence of an oyster shell.
Oh, funny enough, I had oysters today actually for lunch.
Funny enough, Sarah's dad is staying with us and he's never had an oyster before. He's from New Jersey, from the East Coast, never had an oyster.
He tried it for the first time today.
He loved it.
Yeah, he said it was good. And I was like, I know, they're good. If you want the best oysters in Kansas City, go to Earl's Premier. The best oysters.
Earl's, sponsor us, please.
Earl's, please pay me to eat at your place.
Jocelyn says she took her daughter to go see the Monets at MoMA, and they were indeed scribbles.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, and they're cool to see live.
They're beautiful, and it's one of those things where like you think you're looking at something when you're up close to it, and then you back away and you back away and back away, and you're like, oh, that's totally different than what I thought. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now I introduced that lovely blue color along the top. I'm gonna actually bring in some like pinks. So I'm going to take bleed proof white, and I'm just taking my brush, and you can see I am not very responsible with my bleed proof white. But as we've discussed, I can't be tamed. I live on the edge, and it's just paint. So I'm just gonna dab it in there. I'm gonna pick up some coral. I actually need to wipe off some muddiness because I want to keep this color happy, like vibrant. And so I want to make sure that I'm not mixing it with colors that are opposite on the wheel, or else that will turn to a not very happy pink. So I'm just going to clear off a little place on my palette. All right, now I have bleed proof white on my brush. I'm going to take some coral, and you can see I'm getting this really pretty happy pink with that curl. You see that's like that bright pink?
Mm-hmm.
So then I'm like, ooh, let's bring this bright pink into here. And we might have lost our lily pads a little bit, but it's not the end of the world. I'm going to go back in and put them in. Again, I'm doing kind of smaller brush stroke that's horizontal. Lifting my brush, so I'm not covering everything. I'm still letting some of the blue pop. We're getting hints of other colors. Okay. And then before I go crazy, I'm going to do a layer on my lily pads here. And I like to usually do like a dark value around, and then I kind of wet my brush and then just kind of smear that. I also love like just bold colors, so sometimes I'll just do like a swoop of Q gold. And then this lily pad really got lost here, so I'm just gonna bring that back.
After watching Sarah paint all these Monet paintings, my Michael Cray takeaway is more brush strokes equals better
Yeah.
to make it look Monet-ish, you know?
Yeah, brush stroke is key, and different values is key, but he really utilizes color a lot to get those values the way he wants them to. Okay, so that was step 2, which is doing great. I'm gonna actually put in more medium values. So I'm going to take more bleed proof white. I'm going to mix it with my phthalo and maybe a little bit of Q gold in there. So then it becomes a turquoisey. And you see how it's not as light as this blue that I put in here. It's like in between, like a little bit darker.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the blue I'm kind of going for. And if ever you like cover too much of an area, you can just put it back in. You just want to let it dry. So I'm going to let that blue dry, and then I'll go back in and I'm going to put in more pink. What you can do while it's wet, and this was a technique that Monet used, is that instead of mixing the color on your palette directly, he would essentially mix on his canvas. So if he wanted purple, he would do blue and then pink, and then that together, those parts will also make purple. So he would apply color directly and then also apply it, so then you can get some mixture. So if I take a little bit of my Q coral and I put that on top of my blue, it's going to turn purplish.
Sarah, pause. I'm gonna pin a comment up and read it out loud for you, okay?
Okay.
This is hello, Amanda's husband here. It took us a few, but we got up and running. Thank you all so much for the support following her accident. Art has been invaluable in her recovery.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
You're welcome, Amanda's husband.
Now, for those who have participated in the digital projects, what we do every month is we choose someone to send a postcard to. And this month we are sending one to Amanda. She's been painting with us since 2019. And she was in a car accident where she's been having to relearn a lot of things. And because of that, she hasn't been able to paint. And it's been really difficult for her. And so we just wanted to send her a little something, letting her know that like the llama community and like we're here for her, and you know, like she's not alone in this, and we're thinking about her. And so that's what we're painting for Amanda tonight. So I'm so glad that you guys were able to join and watch. Now, if you did not purchase the November goods, you can absolutely still participate. You just need to email our customer happiness team at hello@letsmakeart.com, and we are happy to share the mailing address with you so you can send a little art hug to Amanda to let her know that we're thinking about her. All right. And this is just like, I'm honestly just like playing. I just put in some dark blues. Now I'm going to go in on the top and put in some light blues. The trickiest thing is that when it comes to brushstroke, our brain likes to create the same pattern over and over and over again. So what I am going to kind of challenge you to do is like purposely mess up your brushstroke. So, and think about the direction and the length. In the foreground, your brushstroke is going to be a little bit longer, a little bit thicker because it's closer to us. As the water moves away from us and the lily pads move away from us, that's when we kind of want to break up our brushstroke. Have it be a little bit thinner, have the strokes be shorter. Just by breaking up the like thickness of our brush stroke and changing that is going to give information to our viewer of depth. And that's how we can kind of start to create that. And I'm going to go in, I'm going to thin out some of these. And this is why it's fun being able to play with like new materials and kind of utilizing bleed proof white, is you can thin out, reshape, layer on top. You know what I mean? You're not stuck anywhere. Okay. Now I'm going to take bleed proof white and I'm going to mix it with some green that I have mixed on my palette. And I'm going to put in a few highlights here on my lily pads. And don't be afraid of that color, don't be afraid of that value, and don't be afraid of that brush stroke. Notice that I'm not trying to smooth any of this out. I'm embracing that texture, and that's really, again, part of what Monet does and really important to his style. And just so you guys know, and I'm just going to break this out now just in case you have that. If you have some neo colors, like this one, what color are you? It doesn't really matter, but
Blue.
yeah, this is blue. You can just like paint with them, like draw with them, color with them. It brings lovely texture. And the nice thing about neo colors is they're pretty opaque. So they layer really nicely on top of dark colors. So if you have some, like, don't be afraid to bust those out. They're super fun to play with. If you purchase the Monet course, they'll be perfect in there. I don't use them a lot in the course because I wanted to stick to my very, very simplified supply list. But the only reason why I kept my supply list so simple is because I wanted to empower you to use whatever you had and to show you that you don't have to have everything in order to do this. You can, like, I use 5 colors for all of those projects. Okay. Now what we need to do is we need to start kind of shaping our lily pad. So I'm going to take bleed proof white. I'm going to take some coral. And now I'm going to start doing those kind of circular strokes here. Now I'm going to mix a little bit of Q purple in my coral to give it more of a pink color so it's not just straight red. And I'm just going to swoop, 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 swoop. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing back here. Notice I'm not intent on covering up everything. Okay.
Sarah, do you know if they'll say Neocolor 1 or Neocolor 2?
The colors I just used?
Are they, I don't know. I've never heard.
Neocolor 2, Neocolor 2. These say Neocolor 2.
Neocolor 2. Someone just asked.
I do have, I think I have sets 1 and 2, I want to say. Maybe I don't because I'm only seeing 2. 2. 2. Nope, just Neocolor 2s. All right. I'm going to take this same really gorgeous, like purpley pink color, and I'm going to bring that into my water. Oh, God. Isn't that so beautiful?
Yep.
And at this point, and something that I really encourage you guys during these projects when we're doing them is you're gonna want to take a break. You're gonna want to walk away because at this point you're probably feeling like when you're this close to a painting that's going off of color and brushstroke, it can feel really messy to the point where you're like, people aren't gonna know what this is. So take a step back, look at it with fresh eyes, look at it from far away, and it's gonna give you that perspective. Also, remember, we're only about halfway through this painting, so give it a chance to be something. I'm going to mix a little bit of, or I'm just going to grab some Q purple here because I want there to be just like stronger hints of purple. I just want more purple.
Don't stop painting, but Neocolor ones are not water soluble and twos are. So you probably have all twos, I would imagine.
Yeah, I would imagine. Thank you for letting me know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yes, I like that purple. I want to bring in some of that like turquoisey blue over here. Oh, it's such a good color. Look at that. Okay. Now, the other thing that I want to do is I want to mix basically my primary colors together that I have, which are phthalo, coral, and yellow. That's going to give me just a really dark value. Whenever you mix the three primaries together, you'll get either a really dark brown or a really dark, almost black, you know, depending on the ratios of each color, but basically it will be a dark value. And I'm going to start putting in my shadows for my lily pads. So if you look at my reference here, you can see that there's like a dark area underneath the flowers. And if you look at Monet paintings too, that's also kind of how he kind of grounded some of those flowers. It's almost like a reflection into the water. Okay. And then since I have that dark value on my brush, where it's just like, maybe I'll do a little bit of a shadow underneath some of my lily pads here, that is going to also ground my lily pads and make them feel a little bit more three-dimensional. Okay. All right. I'm going to get some fresh cad yellow because I feel like bringing in some like happy yellow to some of my paintings. And I just made it green by not rinsing my brush
Oh no.
before I touched it. That's okay. I'll just do another fresh little
Drop.
dupe. Okay, I'm going to take this yellow and I'm going to mix a little bit of that with coral. It's going to give me kind of like an orange. And using that orangey color, I'm going to kind of put it in the center of my lilies. Okay. And again, it's a smear. It's not, we're not like, what's the shape of the center of a lily? It's really, we're trying to indicate the impression of something. We're not trying to render something. So really embrace a simple stroke, a simple line to indicate the center of a flower or the edge of a lily pad or the shape of a petal. Okay. And then because this color is already on my brush, like why not put it a little bit in my lily pads and bring some yellow into there? Like, look at that. Stunning. Okay. And then just to make my lily pads pop, or my lilies pop a little bit more, I'm going to grab some fresh bleed-proof white, and I'm just going to do a few kind of petal strokes. Notice that they're kind of curved lines kind of going in around. If you look at some of the if you look through any of his lily pad paintings or lily paintings, sometimes they're literally squiggles. Like he'll just scribble in a circular motion. And it's just like, oh, there's my flower. And like, that's it. And it is, it's there. We're now kind of going to start putting in our dark values and pay attention to our textures and everything like that. So we're kind of like starting to wind down a little bit. So basically what I want to do at this point is I want to look at any areas within my painting that I feel like could use a little bit of love. I feel like I want to put a little bit of texture right here, but I think that what I got right here is really beautiful. And so I don't want to mess with that too much, but maybe I'll just grab some of this phthalo mixed with a bit of bleed proof white here. and just kind of touch that in a little bit. Oh,
Lovely.
isn't that pretty?
All right. Here's a random question, Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you get your art journal clips? Those
Oh,
like metallic little clips that you have.
yes. Some of them are from like Amazon, like just kind of basic on Amazon. I've also, what is that company called? They do like, they're like an art journal company. I feel like Jesse showed them to me.
Mm,
Um, it could be Ranger, but I'm not positive.
okay.
Yeah, I've just been kind of collecting them
Over the years.
over the years. Okay, I'm doing a little bit more of that purple hint in here. I kind of wanted to go throughout here a little bit.
Also, Barb says she's doing this along with us with oil pastel sticks, and she's having a good time.
Yes, oil pastel would be so good. And this is a beautiful thing about this medium is basically how I'm going to show you on how to approach these paintings. You can do it with whatever, like literally colored pencil, crayon, watercolor, gouache, oil, acrylic. I'm trying to think of more. That's enough.
All right.
Well, I like that purple right there. That's pretty. And then sometimes another thing that Monet was really good at is he would put colors that were complementary right next to each other. So for example, take the edge of my lily pad here, which is green. I'm going to take a little bit of my cute coral, mix that with a tiny bit of yellow to get like a reddish color, and just do like this swoop of color right along the edge here. And it just kind of activates it. When complementary colors are right next to each other in a composition, they work like almost against each other and really kind of they fight for getting seen, right? And so that kind of just brings a lot of attention to an area. So a trick that Monet would use a lot with his colors is he would use complementary colors wherever he wanted your eye to go. And because automatically having those two things next to each other just pulls your eye right in, okay? And you can utilize that within your paintings and your compositions to lead your viewer's eye throughout your painting or to show them where you want them to go. Okay, I'm gonna do a little bit more like green within my lily pads, maybe play with some lighter values. Ooh, too light. And if it gets too light, you just pick up some paint and you do like a swoop of paint on top. Also, don't be afraid to even take, you can use a liner brush, you can use a pencil, whatever, and just kind of like scribble around some of these edges. That is what you would see in his painting. We're so used, and this is why, when Monet first showed his work, he got a lot of criticism in terms of saying, it looks like unfinished wallpaper. Children do a better job, all this kind of stuff, because at that time, what was kind of in fashion or in vogue for fine art was to basically have such meticulous blending within your painting that you could not see the brushstroke. Like it was so smoothly blended out. And so if that was kind of the standard, and then you go to a painting like this, where it's just like brushstroke and texture, it could feel almost like people were really offended by it. And so it's just kind of like this thing where, he was really going against the grain. And it took a long time for his style to really be accepted and appreciated. He didn't experience a lot of success throughout in the beginning of his life. At the end of his life, when he was doing these series, Homeboy was doing real well. He was doing good. So it just shows you that like you stick with something, you believe in something, you try and approach something in a different way. And eventually, people can come around to it. I also will say that, even when we started Let's Make Art, and the fact that we have this kind of like broken fourth wall where our cameraman talks and we talk to each other and they ask questions, that's wasn't super common for YouTube at the time, and we got a lot of criticism. And just kind of how chatty I am, got a lot of criticism too, but a lot of it is just because, art doesn't need to be intimidating. It doesn't need to be this really serious thing. You make the best art when when you feel good and you feel relaxed. And I wanted it to feel like you're just with your friends hanging out and making something together. That's how I've always wanted this to feel. And I think that for those people that it resonated with them, they were able to find us, and here we are. But initially, oof, initially, not so great. But we got there. Okay. Oh, I love this. I just love this so much. I'm going to put in a couple extra darker values. I kind of like to kind of squint my eyes and see where things are kind of falling off the page in terms of values a little bit. And I think that it kind of evens out too much back here, that I just want to introduce a tiny bit of this medium value blue just to kind of activate that space a little bit. Okay, I'm going to do a few more strokes. My flower here. If it gets too dark, you can just layer right on top. No big deal. Oh, yeah, I like that. Maybe we'll do a couple highlights on my lily pad.
Joanna says she loves listening to our tutorials while working. It makes her feel like she's hanging out with friends.
Oh, good. That's what we want. We are just friends hanging out.
I'm gonna butcher this. Busen says, "Can I do this with gouache? Thank you. I love this channel so much."
Absolutely, you can do this with gouache. And basically what we're doing is we're turning our watercolor into gouache with the use of bleed-proof
This
white.
would probably be easier with just gouache.
Which is something that I acknowledge in the tutorials. But not everybody has that. But I know that if you've been painting with me for a while, I know you have watercolor, and I know you most likely have bleed-proof white, or at least some sort of white gouache, because I use it quite regularly. If you only have liquid watercolors, you can use bleed-proof white with liquid watercolors as well. It works the same. It works beautifully.
Okay.
So don't stress about that.
You got plenty of other stuff to stress about. Don't stress about that.
This is one thing that you can take off your plate. And I'm thinking I need one more, like, just really increase that contrast in value and kind of mix all three colors together. And I'm going to do just like really dark right down here, break up some of that blue, shape some of this. And what's so fun about this style is you might be like, well, where's the edge of the lily pad, or where does this go, and that kind of thing. And what's so fun is, like, have you ever looked at layers of lily pad where you're not quite sure where one starts and one ends? And I think that that kind of feeling is also part of what Impressionism can capture because of the brushstroke, because of the movement. I know that I've said this before if you read my little Monet letter that I wrote, but essentially when I saw Impressionism for the first time, I realized that they're painting in verbs, they're painting in actions, where you look at something and you're just like, you feel it, as opposed to just naming it.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that freedom of being able to try and capture the feeling of something, the action of something, as opposed to just rendering something. It really is the only way that we can communicate how we experience the world, because only us can create that brushstroke or that color combination. And only us, we only experience the world how we experience it. And so through this kind of style, we can start to share how we experience the world. Stronger pinks right there, because why not? You can even put in some greens. Actually, Monet put in a lot of green in his water because, there's green foliage. The lily pads themselves are reflecting. So don't be afraid to really go for it. Say, what would happen if I just do this?
Ralph Herrick, one of the first names I started recognizing around these lives. Ask what size is this paper? Ralph, I think this is a 4x6.
This is a 4x6.
Thank you for asking me.
Just a postcard kind of size. But you can do this any size you want.
How does Sarah Cray clean out the bleed-proof white after using it? I said, Sarah's bleed-proof white budget is very high. They get gunked up a lot.
You want to see my bleed-proof white? There's one. There's one. There's one.
I rest my case.
I'm not going to talk about the 8 that I have on in my studio that literally look exactly like this. But if I had to clean it out, like, because there is a lot of fresh paint underneath there, basically I would take like a tiny little spoon and you would basically just scoop off the top layer, rinse it, scoop off the top layer, rinse it, and then just kind of do that until your bleed-proof white is clean again.
Go ahead and set yourself up for success. Buy a bleed-proof white and scoop some out onto your palette. And so you don't, it doesn't get into the jar.
You could do that. One could do that. Okay, we're done. This is our project.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
This is one of those that like everybody's is going to look so different. And again, when you're looking up close, it's going to feel really uncomfortable, especially if you tend to lean towards perfectionism. But I invite you to look at it from far away, to give yourself the grace to appreciate what's happening and what you're communicating, as opposed to trying to create this idea that you have in your head. So for example, looking at this, instead of going like, oh, I don't like this, it's just like, wow, I really love that little blue highlight. And I love how there's so much pink up here, but it doesn't feel like my water is pink. It just feels like light, or, there's just like movement or something there. Don't be afraid to explore different colors and textures. Again, if you have the neo colors too, which thank you for saying that, you can absolutely just like scribble and play. Like this is very, very close to something Monet would actually do, is actually just scribble. And what we're kind of fighting against for us is our scale. Because we're painting so small, it's kind of hard to get the amount of texture and brush stroke that Monet was able to get, because his paintings were huge. I mean, the ones in the L'Orangerie Museum literally take up an entire wall, like 40 feet. It's beautiful. But because of that space, he can really go crazy with his movements, and he has so many that he could make just because of that space. Now for us, when we're working 4x6, we're kind of limited in how far we can take our paintbrushes. So just kind of explore, try different tools, try different materials. There really is, you can't go wrong. So let's do a tape reveal.
Okay.
And then we're going to do our December reveal.
Ooh.
Nada says, I just joined. Why the heck is there a croissant? There should always be a croissant. Nada. That's what I say. It's a brush rush. That's why it's there. All right. Now, again, we are painting these postcards for Amanda. Her address is in the November digital goods. If you need her address and you want to send something to her, you can email us at hello@letsmakeart.com so you can send her a little art hug. She's been going through a little bit of a hard time, and we just want to let her know we're thinking about her. Ah, look at that edge.
Beautiful.
Okay, there's our painting. Good job, you guys. I hope you had fun with that. And then if you're curious, if you want a little bit of a taste of what we're going to talk about for the Monet projects, there's just a little bit of a teaser, a little bit of taste for you. And I'm excited for you guys to fully dive in. Those will be available on Friday.
Yeah, if you want hours and hours of that, hang out with us for a few hours.
Yes. I had the best time. I wish I could do it again. All right. Are you guys ready to see December?
Let's do it. It's all portraits of me.
We've talked about it for months.
Here it comes.
We're finally going to do it. Okay. So, when I think about winter,
Okay.
especially in Missouri, I think about looking out my window And I'm thinking about a snowstorm. So everything is covered in that soft white. And then we see a flash of color,
Okay.
red.
Okay.
So I'm presenting to you,
Drum roll.
drum roll, snowy cardinals.
Oh, so good.
Okay, I know we painted a cardinal before. Okay, I know. But the first time we actually painted a cardinal was in 2018, you guys. That was 7 years ago. And I've never taught you how to paint a cardinal with a background. And so I'm really excited to show you how you can do that. So we do so many techniques in this project. We do a lot of wet on wet to get that kind of fuzzy out of focus. We do wet on wet for the birds, and then we go back with wet on dry to get those finishing details, create that form. We layer the values, and with the splattering of bleed proof white for the snow, it brings in that atmosphere that is very just giving you winter. Okay? I'm so excited.
That's a good one.
And they're so cute. Who doesn't like painting cardinals? I can paint cardinals all day. I love them so much.
Yeah, they're the cutest birds for sure.
Okay. Our second project is I want you to go to a magical land with me.
Okay.
That's maybe through a wardrobe where you might see.
Is it Fresno?
If anyone's familiar with California, that was funny. No, I think a good little a little landmark you got to look for is
Drum roll.
winter lamppost.
Ah, I love that one.
I love this project so much. And it's one of those where you think like, how the heck am I going to paint that? And then you do, and you're like, that was it. Like that's truly, it's magical. It has the feels, it's capturing, all of this kind of stuff. It's all done through values. And it is one of those things where watercolor really does the work for us. And I cannot wait to show you how to paint this project.
Melanie says that she was expecting to see all of my portraits with googly eyes. And then also, Estrella says googly eyes for the Cardinals. And you guys are my people.
Yes.
I am a googly eye person.
If you put googly eyes on your Cardinals, please post that in the group.
Tag me.
I have to see it. That'd be the funniest. Okay. Last project. And let's say you're walking through and you're with your family and you're playing in the snow and you're doing a little snowball fight and you have on your Christmas gear.
Drum roll.
Warmest wishes.
That one's so good.
This one
It looks like
so
a photo. It's
good.
beautiful.
I love this project so much. And this is another one where it seems, it seems really difficult, but trust me, I know you guys can do this. Okay. This is one of those where it's just like, there's a lot going on, but once I show you how to, add the pattern, do the texture, throw this, it's just going to be like, I can't believe I painted that. The other really beautiful thing about these paintings is even if they're not perfect, they are so recognizable in terms of what it is that you're trying to paint that people are going to be like, lamppost, got it. Red mittens, got it. Cardinals, easy. You know what I mean? Like
piece of cake,
piece of crumb cake. You guys got this. And I'm just so excited to paint these with you. These really capture that kind of magic that I think that December holds. So I'm thrilled to do these with you. These will be available December 1st, and they're going to be available the entire month of December. After that, they go into the archive. They go back into the vaults. Do you guys want to see the bonus?
Heck yeah. Do I need a drum roll?
We always want a drum roll.
Sorry.
But wait.
Okay.
Before the drum roll, let's set the scene.
Mm-hmm.
You and your loved one decide to take a little trip to the city for Christmas.
Fresno,
if you will. And you're walking through a park with these skyscraper buildings behind you, and there's lampposts and trees illuminated around you, and you come across this beautifully decorated tree during an evening walk in a city during Christmas. Welcome to
drum roll. Done.
City Tree.
So perfect. Let's zoom in.
This is actually a watercolor card here. So this bonus is a 5x7 watercolor tutorial. I'm going to show you how to paint this. It comes with an outline, step by step, all of that good stuff. And on top of that, I made all of these outlines into 5x7 card outlines as well. So you guys can turn any of these projects into holiday cards if your heart desires it. Okay?
Love it.
Let me see if I can try and get all of these in kind of a shot here so you can see them. There we go.
Beautiful.
That's December.
Okay, I've got a couple last questions before we go from people.
Okay, great.
Explain the archive real quick, just real rapid fire.
Yes. So how the archive works is every month we come out with projects like I just showed you what you're going to see in December as a bundle. You can purchase these as a bundle, only as a bundle during the month. Once that month is over, they go into the vault. Okay. Then what we do is we open up the archive a few times a year. It rhymes with archive. You know, we're doing a little pun. And all of these projects are available on an individual level.
A la carte.
A la carte, if you will. So that way you can pick and choose. So then let's say you're kind of brand new, you missed out, you weren't able to purchase any previous packs when they were available, then you can buy them individually, no problem. Okay, so they're there for you. But once the month is over, the cost savings that you receive on this bundle, you'll never be able to like get back. And also they'll be in the vault until we open up the archive. The archive is not open always. We do it a few times a year. If you're on our email list, we notify you. Was that good enough explanation?
That was
Does that make
perfect.
sense?
Yep.
Okay.
Rapid fire, one more question. Have you ever
Great.
painted a female cardinal?
What?
Female cardinals. You ever painted one?
I don't think I've painted one. Well, I did in my journal.
They are beautiful. We have tons around our home.
We do. We really do. I should have made one a female.
Yeah. It's
In
all right.
the
Next time.
project.
Next
Who
Christmas.
had that idea? You're a genius.
Let me tell you, it was, well, no, it
It's
might
gone?
be gone.
Okay, well, whoever, you know what? You're very smart, and I hope that you turn your second cardinal into a female. Yes.
Bina Field.
Being field, genius. Female cardinals are beautiful because they're like that really warm brown kind of color with that pop of red. Yeah?
Perfect. Yeah.
Good. Is that the questions?
That's it. That was rapid fire.
Okay, great. Will you release the crow as a single project in the archive? Cecilia asked that. So the crow was a bonus for the October bundle. Usually I don't include smaller like journal bonuses in the archive just because like they're just an overhead camera with voiceover. And so I just don't it's a very different experience that I didn't want people to be like upset at. But I'll think about it.
Yeah.
If you guys really want it, I'll think about it.
We'll mull it over.
Okay.
Everybody, happy Thanksgiving.
You guys, I hope you enjoy your Thanksgiving. And if you will indulge me for a second, I was thinking the other day how grateful I am to do what I do and how I do it. I will say that honestly, since Michael and I purchased Let's Make Art, I can feel myself being a better wife. I can feel myself being a better mom. And I feel like it's just because it just feels so right. I don't know how to say it any other way where it like has freed my mental load up where I can be more present with my family and friends in a way that I never even imagined or I thought was possible. And I think it's just because I have this job that I get to do something that I love so much. And that's because of you guys. And so I just want to say thank you. It really makes my life so I'm truly excited to wake up every single day. I don't get the Monday blues, like, or the Sunday scaries when you're like, I gotta go. Like, I really love that I'm able to do this. And I'm just so grateful that you guys are willing to support us and be here on this journey with us because it makes it worth it. And I love that we get to share art together. It's such a wonderful thing. Just as a quick recap, November's available till the end of the month, and it goes in the archive or into the vault until we release the archive. The Monet series are releasing. All those videos are going to be available Friday. I really hope you guys enjoyed them. I had a wonderful time creating them for you. And then tonight we painted postcards for our Let's Make Art Matter recipient, Amanda, who has been going through a hard time due to a car accident. She hasn't been able to paint, and she's been painting with us for years. And so it's just been kind of really difficult on her. So we just want to send her a little note to let her know she's not alone. If there's anyone that you think would be an excellent recipient for our Let's Make Art Matter, we do have a nomination form on our website. You can find that at letsmakeart.com. If you want the address for Amanda, you can email us at hello@letsmakeart.com. We're happy to share that address with you so you can send her an art hug. And then all of these lovely projects for our December box will be available starting December 1st. Okay? All right. I think that's it. What a wonderful evening. I just really appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here, and I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving with your family and friends. We'll see you next time. Bye.